Welcome back, crypto enthusiasts. How is everybody doing today? Hope everyone is having a fantastic day. As always, my name is ATX Crypto, aka Nathan. Hopefully, y'all are having a fabulous Wednesday. And today, we're going to be checking out some information on what's going on with the PulseChain delay. Is it really delayed? Is it on track? We're also going to be finding out a little bit more information about the most recent HEX price dip. We're going to be diving into some of the transactions who have sold, and we're going to be checking out Richard Hart's Twitter to see if we can find out any information that we may be able to dissect on this as well. So join me along for the ride. Thank you again to everyone who allowed me to hit 1,000 subscribers most recently. We're on to the next monumental milestone, of course, at 1,500. So let's go ahead and keep that subscriber pump going as we have been. But as always, I hope everyone is having a fantastic day. Once again, acrylic art, Kami, what is going on? Mudhog, let's go. Let's pour a drinky poo. I'll have a drink to that as well. But as always, folks, I really hope everyone is having a fantastic day. We're going to be checking out some information and finding out kind of what's going on with the most recent price action happening with HEX. So, without further ado, let's take a little peeky weeky over at the HEX price. No? Do I have to be touching it? Interesting. Okay, cool. So the most current HEX price sitting at right now. All right, cool. The most recent HEX price that we are looking at right now is actually sitting at 6.017 cent. Now, if y'all are following me yesterday, I did anticipate us going down to the 5.9 to 5.8 region. Why? Because HEX has already done this many a times. Anytime that there's any sort of negative news from Richard Hart or delay of why PulseChain may be delayed, HEX likes to have the adverse effect of dropping roughly about 20 to 25%. We have a 30% drop there. Here's another one where he actually dropped down 25%. Once again, another one dropping down 24.9%, so we'll just say 25. And once again right here on this one, sitting here at this most recent one, 24.6. So I just kind of assumed HEX is going to do something the exact same way it's been doing. And guess what, folks? We got us a 26% dip. It brought us down all the way to the 5.8 cent region, or technically 5.769 was the all-time low so far today. And again, we are having lower lows as well. So we're now making lower highs and lower lows, which tends to be a bearish momentum movement happening. Now, I do anticipate that we'll pick up a little bit more support here in this 5.6 cent region. Now, this is just because we have areas who have already tested this as well, along with the liquidity happening with HEX too. We actually got a lot of liquidity kind of filled in here, all between this little range. People are looking to scoop up some additional HEX. So this is the current HEX price right now, 6 cents. And again, this is people who are looking to scoop up some additional HEX here in this 5.6 cent region. So I do anticipate we'll get at least a little bit level of, oops, here we go. No way you can see it a little better. I do anticipate that we are going to get a little bit more of a level of support here at this point in time. And if we break down into the 5.6 cent region, we're looking for the next level of support to be 5.4. So based on kind of what we're seeing right now, that's what's going on with the HEX price. We're going to be diving into this a little bit more also later in this episode, so keep on tuning in. Ask your questions as well. If y'all got some questions that y'all are wanting answered, feel free to put them down in the chat. We're going to go through these and just kind of have some fun with each other today. But guys, yeah, in terms of the most recent HEX price dip, it's because Richard Hart came out with this little tweet right here saying PulseChain update. Aragon released a bug fix. Yay, Pulse Aragon is still syncing using the latest version with the fix, so it won't be running into that bug. Execution stage is on December 18th, so only 79 days of blocks to execute before stage 8. So basically we were on stage 10. It reverted. There was a bad actor or some sort of bad bug in the system or something that happened that basically caused it to revert back to stage 5. and essentially restart the sync from that point in time. They've released an update on that little fix, so we've already most likely got the fix happening here. But we are back to stage 7 as of yesterday. We looked at the tweets Richard Hart has stated previously, and we know that it typically takes about 30 hours for stage 7 to complete. So I did anticipate that we are going to see a dip. Why? Because this is considered negative news. PulseChain is not launching, right? It's like V3 is not launching. All this stuff is viewed in the eyes of all these traders, holders, speculators, and everyone who is just waiting for any news and announcement of PulseChain. This is what's going on with all of them. So you have to kind of understand a lot of this information right from the jump, that unfortunately we are kind of seeing that exact same thing happen, right? We are seeing these people who recently got this message and they said, I don't believe that PulseChain's launching tomorrow, for example, so we can just assume that I can play a trading game, or I can sell, or I can get into USDC, or maybe they got into HEX temporarily because they thought it would be a tool for them to get into PulseChain. People aren't wanting to miss out on this moment in time, but they also don't like seeing their numbers go down. Now, though we have already gone up in the last 2 months, we've already gone up 290%. This is as of, that's as of January. So let's pull this up actually and get the bottom here. So in the last 2 months, my puppy's barking right there, we're still up 247%. So people are still up on their position, but people are either now taking profits on their position. People are going to, I don't like my puppy barking, man. It upsets me. Give me 1 second. Hey, come here. Finley. Get inside. Come on. Naughty, naughty. Naughty, naughty. He's a naughty boy. All right, so I'm back. Appreciate the wait. So basically what we're seeing is we're still up in this position. People are now either taking profits from their most recent gains. People are likely to be trading. People aren't really staking their HEX anymore, especially for these newer folks. If you go down and look at some of these transactions, for example, on all of these people who are selling, and we'll kind of dive into this right now, actually might as well. But let's just look at this person, for example, currently holding roughly about $12,000 that they sold. They had 196,000 HEX. They sold it for USDC. And let's just take a little peeky week here at this address. So right now they moved it all into USDC, as you can see. You can see the transaction as well right here, saying that they've moved all of their tokens back into USDC. They've even sold some of their Maximus as well, or sold some of their Maximus, got some Maximus. But basically they're moving everything out of anything with the Richard Hart ecosystem back into USDC for now, because one, they could be thinking that the price could go a little bit lower. They could be doing a whole bunch of information. But just for example, let's just see if this person's even staked. And a lot of the times what happens is these folks aren't actually staked, right? So if I come over here and just kind of pull up this information real quick to look at the go.hex.com website, you can see if they've actually staked any HEX. Now they do have one stake, so kudos to this person right here. On average, you don't see this, but they have one stake that started January 21st, 2023. They basically did a 60-day stake going up until May 31st of 2023. Oh, my bad. It was a 5-month stake, right? Because that's January all the way up to May. So they did a 5-month stake, and essentially they've already made it through 34%. Fortunate for them, they haven't sold out of their position. They're doing good on that. They got 11 T-shares, and they've accrued roughly about 3,500 yield so far on this stake. Now, through this period of time, they still want to complete this stake, but they didn't stake all of their position, obviously. And so they are still very cautious when it comes to all of the activity happening. So I'm not too surprised when I see this. We can kind of go down a little bit further and check out another wallet, for example. Let's just do another bigger transaction. Maybe this one right here. Sold 10,000 dollars worth of hex just recently or today. So this looks to be like a trading bot. Yeah, so this is like a trading service here. Yeah, exactly. By the way, Gwei right now, folks, don't mess around on the transactions. I was looking at the Etherscan website for Gwei right now, and it is nasty. Looks like that blur contract is basically running the price up once again. So we can see if we pull up the gas contract right now, it's around 48. I just saw it as high right before I started the stream is 120 something Gwei, and that was just recently today. So I would be very cautious if you're looking to transact at this time. Even these sells and these buys, if you were doing market buys on these are costing extra money just to do it, because the Gwei is so high right now, and that just means the gas that it's going to cost to transact on the Ethereum network is pretty high. I'm going to set this to $10,000 just because I want to see a little bit more of the bigger sells happening. But once again, like always, folks, I like showing this. We still have more buyers than sellers. Every single day this has been a fact. We have 397 buyers versus 223 sellers. So we essentially double the sellers every single day in terms of the buyers. So there's still more buyers than sellers. It's just that these sellers are coming in with more dollars, selling more than the buyers, which makes the candle go down, right? So I'm going to go back to make this 10,000 real quick. And yeah, of course, guys, if y'all have anything to ask in chat, feel free to ask it as well. I'm happy to go through and check this out with every single one of you. Seems like today everyone's a little bit more sad, man, which is so funny, dude. Like, it's so crazy. We literally, if you go back and just kind of see, I mean, we went down, what, 24% today or something like that, which basically means that if you put in some money at this point in time, 22%, if you put in $1,000, you may be at 750, for example. But it's just so funny, the reaction that people have of the short-sightedness of all of this. Now, granted, could we see lower? For sure. Like, again, the news Richard Hart stated, I didn't necessarily see that as a bullish momentum. And you can see the Gwei right here sitting at 50 Gwei right now, and it's all because of blur.io being the main reason as to why the Gwei is so high. So I'm never a fan of these little protocols when they basically punish everybody else, even for not participating in their protocols. NFTs were a big one back in 2021 that caused the gas fees to just be out the wazoo, and now it's sitting at blur. Blur.io is the main contender, is why everything is so high right now. And again, that's sad, man. It sucks that everyone else has to get punished because of their shitty protocol. So I'll leave it like that and go back over here. But again, for these folks who are just sitting right now, they are back in this like bearish mindset, which is, you know, kind of to be expected. You have a lot of people who are not necessarily into this game. They're just looking at how everything looks. So we had a higher high here, higher high here, right? We had higher highs over and over and over again. And then eventually we just now hit a lower high right here, right? So we went down and we actually had a lower low as well. So this is a low right here. This is a lower low, which typically means we are going down a little bit further, unless Richard Hart comes out with some crazy news saying that PulseChain V3 is live or testnet V3 is live. I don't see a reason as to why the price is going to pump. HEX is very correlated and tied to any news of PulseChain now. And I mean any, by the way, like literally any news, good or bad. People react one way or another based on this information right here. So all I can do is just kind of see how everything looks right now and assume we're probably going to retest this 5.6 support line. And this is because we've had previous levels of resistance here at this point. And then we came back down and used it almost as support a couple of times, and then it bounced back above it. So I do see this level of support to show up. If we break below 5.6, then we are going to be down into the 4.9 cent realm, and it kind of goes pretty fast too, because there's low liquidity right now in HEX. So if it ends up breaking down, I'll just kind of leave these two levels just so that way I have track of what I've said and what we talk about, and we'll go back and guys, all this can easily change. A shark can come in, a whale can come in and just say, bam, forget that. I love this price at 6 cents. I'm scooping as much as I can up. And all of this goes out the window. Why? Because there's very low liquidity when it comes to the HEX price right now, okay? So everything that we're talking about right now, just know take it with a grain of salt, not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but let's just see who exactly is selling, right? Because this is something that I always get curious about whenever I see like a lot of sales happening all at once. And it makes me kind of wonder, like, are they staked? Do they just play the game of trading? Are they just in this ecosystem because of PulseChain? And it seems like for the most part, most of them lately who are trading, who are selling, are in the ecosystem only for the idea of making a quick profit for PulseChain. So you can see this person had one stake in the past. They had they had it back on March 7th of 2022. They kept it until March 29th, so they didn't even do a full month stake. Looks like they may have completed it all. Oh, they didn't even do a full. They nuked themselves, dude. That sucks. They only got 1.18% of it, so they basically said they probably said they were gonna kick it out to 55, and you can see initially they had 99,000 for their principal, and then at the end of it they only got 46,000 back. So they nuked themselves, and that sucks whenever you see this, because it's someone who may not be familiar with how the whole HEX stake mechanism works, which is why if you are new to this system, new to this idea of staking HEX, look to possibly do short-term stakes, learn how it works, right? One thing I did whenever I first joined and I got into the HEX ecosystem was I did 2 stakes. I did one for a week, and then I did one for 30 days. Why did I do that? Because I wanted to end the stake the very next day on the one that I had for 1 week. I wanted to see how it worked, how I was penalized. And then for the 30-day one, I let that run for 30 days to see if the yield created during that time would be advantageous, would be profitable. And at the time, gas fees were pretty freaking high, so it didn't make sense. It showed me right away that it doesn't make sense for me to do a short-term stake if I have very little HEX to go with in the beginning. Now, if you're dealing with millions of HEX, you can run these 30-day stakes and be very profitable and make roughly between 6, 10, 20 grand a month. I've seen it with other whales. I've seen it happen with other folks in the ecosystem. But if you don't start out with the millions of HEX initially, running a short-term stake is not advantageous or beneficial. And so I would always caution anyone who may be trying to figure that out for themselves to just kind of learn how that works as well for the ecosystem, okay? So hopefully that makes a little bit more sense. And yeah, hopefully that explains it just a little smidge more as well, because I want to make sure that everyone's here. Thank you so much, Logan's Run. Congrats on your 1,000. Much love as well. Greatly appreciated all the people who have come through and subscribed, making that 1,000 happen. A diamond hand, acrylic art, Kamami, yeah. So like you got like, you know, people like this sucks. This person nuked themselves because they're probably not familiar with it. They only did one stake. They saw that they nuked themselves and they never staked again. So it does stink that they didn't necessarily understand how it worked or try to go back and figure it out a little bit more. But to this person who did it, just FYI, just know that you can end up benefiting from longer term stakes, from shorter term stakes. You set up staking ladders, or whatever we were going to call it now, publishing ladders or minting ladders, whatever sort of name we want to call it, right? So at this point in time, it's just a matter of how it all works. But yeah, this person no longer is staked, and you kind of see this a lot with these people who are selling, you know, tens of thousands of dollars worth of HEX at this time. I can go through these and just kind of look briefly. So we'll just go through 3 of them real fast. Okay. So I'm going to click here. I'm going to open this one, and then I'm going to open this one. So this is 11,000, 19,000, and 20,000. Okay. So let's just take a quick gander, quick peek, and see if they're staked at all. See if they have any stakes whatsoever, because I always get very curious. And sometimes, for the most part, folks, these people aren't staked like we talked about. They were staked actually quite a while, up until February 15th, 2023. They completed all of their stakes to 100% completion. It's surprising that you had someone this deep in the ecosystem who's done this many stakes. Have they done nothing but 30-day stakes the whole time? No, okay. So 3-day stake, perfect. This is exactly what I'm talking about right here. This is how you start, right? Like this, I love seeing this right here. 500, this one right here, 552 days, went to 555, so a 3-day stake. They completed it up to 100%, and in all reality, it was only 1,300 HEX that they actually initially staked. and they only got 1.3 hex for that return, so it wasn't like the massive return, but they got to understand how the whole hex system worked. And guess what? A few days later, they went and staked this one all the way up for basically 6 more months. Now it looks like these people are starting to play PulseChain news, right? This is that PulseChain news coming around. July 2021 was the sacrifice for PulseChain. December 2021 was the sacrifice for PulseX. So they were playing a lot of this, all ending around December. Now, typically, won't recommend ending the stakes on the same day. Like if you have multiple stakes like this, I don't see a purpose as to like why you would want them to all end on the same day, unless that's like a life event for you or some sort of anniversary or something you've been planning. I usually would say like have like do it every quarter or something like that. This person doesn't necessarily have anything per se in like a particular. It looks like they kept staking some, ending the stake together, staking some, ending the stakes together. You can see they kept doing this multiple times. They would stake it for a little bit, end it at the same date. I see that as kind of like odd behavior personally, but this is what we look at it for, right? So it is odd that they have been in this long and that they are no longer staked. So I'm just curious if they're thinking they're going to play the PulseChain system, right? That's kind of my guess. Let's take a gander over here, and that was for the one with $11,000 who just sold recently. So they're back to holding cash and liquid on this one, so they aren't holding any more hex. They're just back to holding liquid USDC or dry powder. And if we go back over here to this one, they're sitting on 32,000. They did just recently sell $19,000 worth, and again, they've only staked one time in their existence. This is a pretty common thing that I start unveiling whenever I dive into this information, folks. It really is pretty frequent that you see someone who is actually selling that they aren't staked at all. It's just kind of interesting to just be fair and blunt. But it looks like they did the same thing. They nuked themselves. They only completed 19% of their stake, and then they never staked again. So they didn't, like I said, you gotta learn how the system works, man. You gotta freaking crawl before you walk, and you gotta walk before you run. And if you just jump into a new system and you just say, oh, I'm staking for fucking a year, and then all of a sudden you want to pull out that money 30 days later, well, you just wreck yourself. And that probably is what happened with this particular entity as well. But it is what it is, right? That's kind of one of those learning lessons that they end up having. Now, this person did cash out $20,000 worth of hex, and it looks like they are holding plenty of hex, plenty of hedron, sitting almost on 3 million hex and 25 billion hedron. So this person is staked. And why do I say that? Because I mean, guys, like you can see it right away. If you have hedron, you're most likely staked, and that just keeps it very simple and easy. So they did cash out some of their ICOSA, some of their hex, and some of their hedron. It looks like converted it into USDC, and then moved the USDC into this address here. Probably sent it off chain, off wallet is my guess, to Coinbase. This is looking like they're this is their Coinbase address wallet basically. So they basically cashed out $40,000. Kudos to them. They cashed out 40 and they're still holding 40. So kudos to this person for being able to take profit. I can almost assure you that if I pull up this particular wallet, that they are in fact staked, only because they have hedron, right? It's a very easy thing to kind of assume when you have hedron. So it's just fun for everyone to kind of see. Wow, they aren't staked at all? Surprising. I'm actually shocked. Oh, that's because that was the dummy wallet. That's the... Oh, shit. I was like, what? They aren't staked? How is that possible? Okay, cool. Let's go back and click here. All right. And now we should actually see their stakes and see how it actually looks. And the reason why I dive into this information, folks, is because I want to learn myself as to what other folks are doing in this ecosystem, right? Are they staking? Did they hold their stakes to the fruition? Do they have a staking ladder? What can I take and make my own investment thesis based on all of their information, right? You should always be willing to learn. You should always be willing to grow and gain some knowledge. And it looks like this person does in fact have a staking ladder. 2035, 2034, 2033, 2029. Oh, that's funny. They skipped a few years. Maybe they need to fill it in. Oh, here you go. 2032. So, yeah, there you go. They do have them filled in, just separated by a little bit further out, all the way out to 2037. So these folks have more than enough hex staked, and at this point in time, them taking profits is by no means shocking. It's to be expected. They have a lot of stakes. Holy shit. These are all of their open stakes, by the way, folks. They're currently sitting on 10,000 T shares, and they've been in the ecosystem since day 4. So, like, kudos to this person. That's how you do it, man. They completed all of their stakes to 100% fruition. This is beautiful, man. This person right here, I fucking applaud you. You know what I mean? They had a few of them in the early days where they probably cashed out, took out some money. This is back February of 2021. So it's funny is if you look at why they may have ended some stakes early, I try to go back into like look at what the date was and then look at the price of Hex at that time to see if it was a reason as to like maybe the price was going up like crazy. And so let's just look at February of 2021, for example. We're going to go to weekly. And let's go to, let me go to Uniswap actually. All right, so February 2021, we were up right here. So this is actually where we actually got a pretty good high right here. This is a new all-time high before previously, and it actually dipped down, and then it started to recover. So this person probably took some profits because they were like, hey, I want to take some profits out, especially considering this is a day 4 hex stake, basically, is what we were looking at on some of these. A day 9 hex stake, right? So February 23rd, 2021, they had 852,000 hex and 110 t-shirts during that time. They actually accrued 571,000 hex in yield, and they actually cashed out 1.3 million hex at the time, turning that probably into a pretty decent profit. Now, again, it says 10,000 here. So that's still pretty good in terms of like day 9. If you look back at where we were day 9, let's just once again take a little gander right here, and let me switch this over here to weekly. All right, so whoop. All right, so we got February 2021, right? February 2021, February 23rd, if I believe. So it's somewhere in this ballpark where they actually took the profit out. And if you just measure from, I mean, heck, they were day 9, so this is December 9th. So December 2nd, basically right around this range. I'm just going to measure from here all the way up to February 2021, where they actually probably cashed out on. So they still made a good 4,000% right there in profits, which is a good 40x, right? I mean, that's phenomenal. If you turned any money into anything and 40x it, guys, all of us would be very happy to see a 40x on our money, right? I mean, shit, we're all happy to see these little freaking 2x's, 3x's, and back to just moving in that rally momentum. So don't get lost in this momentum of like, hey, it could be bearish, it could be bullish. You know, what's going on with the price of Hex? Are we dumping again? All of these, look at the Hexologist ad. Hey, that's so cute. Anyways, all right. Yeah, so it's just an absolute little crazy time right here. But in terms of Richard Hart tweets, okay, let's break this down. He had 2 tweets. He said one that, again, we're back to resyncing. We know that already. He said restarting Prism Lighthouse seems to be a hit and miss with regards to peering. They seem to start up quickly, peer and sync, but other times they fail to establish connection with peers, failing handshake, or get rejected. And so basically there's a chance that upstream fixes might exist for the Prism Lighthouse peering. They're inspecting. And of course, like you said, or like we talked about, when you start seeing this kind of news and release from Richard Hart, and it doesn't necessarily come out as like the most bullish news possible, we're going to see some downside momentum happen with Hex. And so I do anticipate, and guys, by the way, like, look at this. Richard Hart just announced as well, or just letting people know that that basically there's going to be the Silk Road BTC back on the market again. And he's actually kind of broken it down on this one. 49,000 BTC from Silk Road Hacker got sent to Coinbase just hours ago. So I was looking at the price of Coinbase because I was like, or not the price of Coinbase, the price of Bitcoin. And he was trying to say, hey guys, aren't you Ethereum holders glad that they don't have any Ethereum for them to dump? And he let people know it was only 9,800 of Bitcoin so far. But still, 9,800 Bitcoin could be back on the market here soon. And I was like, wonder what the price of Hex did, or wonder what the price of Bitcoin did based with that news. So I actually pulled up Bitcoin and just took a little gander over here. And yeah, you can see Bitcoin's been on that little tear as well. So based on what we're seeing with Bitcoin, the new level of support for them would probably be around 21,500. And I do, again, if they don't have any news coming out that's updated or anything good, I could definitely see it hitting this price all the way down to 17,000. So Bitcoin could still be in a little downward slump for a little bit. And again, because they just don't have a lot of traction. There is no news happening until the halvening cycle comes around and all that good stuff. So pretty interesting. Yeah, so let's take a little peek over here at chat real quick. Didn't mean to pull up that one. Do you think testnet v3 will come out after the CPI number come out next week on the 14th? I mean, here's what I mean. I do think that we are going to see v3 by a week from now, assuming there's no more bugs. So we need to complete all the way up and get a full sync done first. So we keep running into new issues on the new systems, right? So like first it got up to stage 7, had an issue, went back, and then first it got up, and then it got up to stage 9, found a bug, went back, and then it got up to stage 10, had a bad peer, went back. So we got to pass all of these things, because each time we get some sort of bad news, it takes about a full week to even just get back to the level we were previously at, or just a little bit past it. So if we can get through all 15 syncs and all 15 stages, v3 is very likely to launch within next week. Even the dev is, all active. All the devs, by the way, on PulseChain are freaking super active when it comes to this, guys. Like, look at this. We got Gamma DevOps March 7th, Brett Paulson March 7th, 3 Commas Capital March 7th, SJB March 7th. Richard Hart hasn't been on since the 6th, which is all good. It's just a couple days ago. Kyle Barr March 5th, and then a couple of other devs, February 18th. So we still have, 4 devs that have been active as of recent. We got a couple other activities happening in between. But until I really start seeing all of these things come together, it's tough for me to say like a set time frame. I don't think they're waiting for any CPI numbers. Let me say that. It's a test net, so it's not like it's going to be some crazy freaking announcement, because the test net should be running for at least a couple of weeks to actually test it out. So it's not like the CPI numbers are going to make a difference one way or another when it comes to launching PulseChain. It's just that we need to pass all the synchronizations of stage 15, and then we can get ready to launch. So I would see it being within a week. I said last week it was going to be probably about 2 weeks time, and I'm still sticking to that time frame. So we're going to be seeing probably about another week to go. We get an update from Richard Hart about PulseChain every once a week for the last 9 weeks in a row. And if we continue to keep that momentum happening, then I would anticipate we get some more bullish news coming from him, because like a lot of these tweets that he's messaging right now are just a lot of white noise, basically a lot of noise, right? Cryptocurrency solves this, talking about the Celsius thing, how they could be doing clawbacks, and he's back to letting everyone know how crypto is a crazy freaking world to be in. But at the same time, like, it's not PulseChain or HEX related, and so he's just back to tweeting a lot, right? So I would be cautious when it comes to this information. Just FYI, just kind of what I'm seeing there. RH had a tweet 16 hours ago that the bug is already dead. Yeah, exactly, Hex Squid. Yeah, I mean, RH came through and basically said that the bug did in fact die. You know what I mean? Like, that they found it, that they've moved on onto the next stage, and it's continuing to go. But you have to understand, like, we got to get back to stage 10. There was an issue at stage 10. We got to get past stage 10 in order for people to start getting bullish again when it comes to PulseChain. And unfortunately, HEX is very tied and correlated to any news of PulseChain. As much as I hate to admit it, it really is what it is, right? And so if you just take a little gander over here and just see this for a second, you can see he does say, nice, looks like the peering bug is already dead. Look at all these beautiful private testnet nodes in the green, just waiting for those Aragon nodes to sync up so they can be added, which then allows the explorers to operate. So if you actually pull this up again, you can see that there's 28 active nodes of 28 active nodes, so that's perfect. And he's talking about like 1 GWI. So like in terms of the fees, this is freaking incredibly cheap. I mean, you're talking about the current GWI right now on Ethereum sitting in the ballpark of 51.49. That is insanely high. And I would say transacting anywhere between 8 to 12 is what I used to aim for. I look for below 20 now, right? 18 to 20, and it's tough. You have to wait for the weekend to get those most of the time because this new Blur protocol that just came out back in January. It's basically caused the entire gas fees to go crazy once again. So we're back to 1 GWI on this one, which is incredibly inexpensive. 10-second blocks, which by the way, still on average, Ethereum is roughly about 12 seconds per block. So it's about 20% faster than Ethereum still in this regard. It was down to 3. They switched it over to the E2.0 system. After that E2.0 system swap happened, we're copying over and forking E2.0. We were at 3 blocks per second. We're now up to 10, which is still very, very bullish. It's still 20% faster than Ethereum. And again, this is talking about 5-second blocks, right? So these are all happening, guys. Like, I get it. I get the bugs fixed. I get everything's happening. We got the validators up and running. We have everything happening. All this is good, bullish news, but we need to pass stage 10, right? And then we can really start talking about like what's happening next, because even this right here, you know, hours before he posted the bug being fixed, this is showing stage 7 right here, right? Stage 7 of 15. And on average, it took about 30 hours to complete stage 7. And so we should be past stage 7. Hopefully we're on to stage 8 and stage 9. And we're just continuing to move further and further. But yeah, he's been ham on I love HEX. Did he point that out himself? Bitcoin, did I ever tell you I love HEX? That's funny. He wrote that on his own thing. By the way, if you're using an iPhone, you can just hold it down for a little bit and it'll lock it in to make nice sharp edges. It'll actually lock it in to make a nice beautiful circle. So if you draw a circle and then just hold it for a second, it'll actually make it into a circle. To anyone who doesn't know that, little fun fact for you. Kids are being turned into degenerate gamblers. The public is in general rather unfair, right? And like, again, nothing really crazy. Insane amount of work. PulseChain, PulseX. This is all 1 day ago. All 1 day ago. So he's got some stuff happening. Why are the markets down today? Guess there's a theory that you can't kill inflation with the Fed rates. Yeah, and so like he's bullish. He's talking. He's back to giving us updates, and I love the updates, right? I am a big fan of getting any updates from Richard Hart. I think the overall market and how we react to the updates are a little bit they're a little bit concerning to me, just because some negative news comes out and it's like, kaboom, HEX drops 20 to 25%. This has happened for the last 5 times there's been negative news. And so why did I think that this time would be any different? Because the way I read it was, I actually read it as bearish. I did not see it as bullish news, right? Whenever I was reading his tweets and I was looking at them, I didn't see them as like, oh my gosh, this is freaking happening. We're launching soon. Get ready to freaking hold on to the freaking strap in your seatbelts because we're fucking going to the moon. You know what I mean? I didn't see that. The way I saw it was, I literally said that, you know, we've gotten these dips time and time again whenever there's not that very bullish news, guys. Like when we get past stage 10 and he posts a picture of stage 11, for example, I think we're going to see the momentum flip, because that's progress. That's true progress, if you ask me. While we're getting progress updates, the true progress is coming when we get past to the next stage, right? So let's pass stage 11. Let's pass stage 12. And once we get past those stages, then we'll get that bullish momentum happening from everyone getting hyped about V3 launching very soon. But until we get that statement from him saying we've passed stage 10, we've got past the bad actor, we've got past the bad bug, whatever information it was, then we're looking at moving and moving forward into the next direction. But yeah, HEX has done this time and time again, folks, and it's proven people wrong so many times. I would recommend not getting left behind, because like it happens fast whenever these things come through. I mean, it really does happen within a blink of an eye, where you can literally go, I mean, heck, we saw it already since the beginning of the year, a nice 3x, and that was within 60 days, right? Like, so just imagine we start doing another 3x from the launch of PulseChain news, for example. And even right now, scroll out. So a nice 300% would put us in the ballpark of 23 cents. Okay, so I could definitely see that being very feasible and very possible. Even by April, I could definitely see that being a thing. But in the short term, people are literally looking at all of this news like under a freaking microscope and like, when's it launching? When's it launching? When's it launching? Like, we're back to that again. And every single time it's not extremely bullish and transparent that we are moving forward with progress and not just sitting stagnant or sitting in a flat position and just kind of trading sideways, then we're gonna get to see that pump. Okay, so I could definitely see all these things happening for sure. Now let's just talk real briefly in regards to liquidity once again. What do I want to talk about here? Give me 1 second. There was something else I wanted to bring up on this one. Silver magnet. No, I mean that's pretty much it. Yeah, I just want to give everyone a little heads up that, you know, we may still see some bearish action happening here in the very short term of this time, right? Over the next couple of weeks, because everyone's now waiting for this news. We've gotten so close to getting V3 launch. We have people in the community that continues to say it's going to launch within the next day. It's going to launch within the next hour. It's going to launch within the next minute, right? Like, if you look on Twitter, dude, Twitter is full of everyone assuming that they know exactly when V3 is launching. And I think that is putting a lot of folks off from even trying to participate in the ecosystem because they haven't been right yet. I mean, V3 still isn't here, right? Let's see what he says. Understanding the power of 369. Go to 60 minutes of the video. Cool. Crypto roundtable, investing, chatting today. People keep asking me. Simple answers. Oh, wow. Good job, Huddle Dog, posting a whole bunch of nude pics. Are those Playboys or something like that? Good old job. Lots of titties on Huddle Dog's post Twitter, folks. If you want to see some titties, feel free to hop on in there. I just looked over at chat. Oh, shit. That's too funny. Bruceology's like, let's go. 15 more minutes. V3B is a go. Oh, shit. Gabriel says, I think we're close to stage 10 now. And when stage 10 is done, we'll be done. RH will update us. I hope so, Gabriel. Yeah, KDP is saying we're days away, like for months now. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You got KDP doing a whole bunch of stuff. Did you see Access Alive, WTF? No, Crypto Elite. What did he say actually? Because the post that I just read from him wasn't anything too crazy from what I just saw. It was more of a magnet post of what he's talking about. What did Access say? Yeah, definitely check it out because I'm also curious. Pressology, what did he say? You gotta check it out. ATX Hex is always topped and bottom at sixes. 3, 6, 9, 3 hexagons, 6 corners. 3 plus 6 equals 9. In astrology, it means angels sending you signs. I know it's some woo-woo haha. Interesting, yeah. I mean, okay, so I briefly read that, and then I got into the post of Hodl Dog showing the titties on his post on Twitter. So I don't know if I will get in trouble showing this here, but I'm sure I will. So I'll try not to scroll down too far. If you missed this stream today, you absolutely have to go watch it now. Hex and the power of the hexagon, understanding the power of 369. Go to 60 minutes into the video. Uni V2 chart. So let's pull this up then. Let's go on my headphones so I can hear this lovely information with all of you. Pause it. Go to 60 minutes. And
concepts around it in my mind.
Sound goes to Ecamm. All right, cool. Let's check it out.
I also started to share it with people. and a lot of people would call me crazy just because I also didn't know it enough. But at some point, I learned
Oh, I
that
forgot I
either
can't
you
look
can
at it.
decide
I can't look
to
at freaking chat.
understand this, or you can decide to believe in this, basically, or you can decide not to, and you will both be right. The funny thing is that if you believe, if you decide to believe in this stuff and decide to believe that life works for you rather than against you, then you will be way better off than if you decide that it's just a bunch of nothing, like it's just meaningless, because you will be miserable about it and you will always be fighting because you are the only one who can win at life, basically. There's a difference between letting life win for you and making sure that you win at life. Like, the one has a lot of work in it and the other one has a lot of chill in it. And I would say it's a lot more balanced because you actually have time to look around and make sure everyone around you is also all right.
I mean, let me just say this real fast. I mean, he's right when he talks about this, man. It's that power of positive thinking type deal, right? If you literally have negative thoughts all the time, and this is just my view of it, like, you know, what you believe from take away from his view and my view, and you got to come up with your own. But I do believe in this like power of positivity, right? You manifest what's going to be your reality, right? If you continue to have these negative thoughts over and over and over, like, I'm never going to make it, I'm never going to get that job promotion, I'm never going to find someone that loves me, I'm never going to do this, I'm never going to do that, and you continue to say I'm never, dude, like, chances that you ever succeed are fucking slim to none, because you literally put this force out there and you're like absorbing all this negative energy, and the world is going to give you negative as well. And so, like, I believe in this power of positivity, which, you know, I came back from the fucking war, I came back from Iraq, I came back and made it. I'm in one piece. Do I believe that there could be someone watching over me? Because, guys, my life is full of fucking crazy shit happening. I've got plenty of stories to tell for days, long before my military time, that I should have never been here talking to y'all at this point in time. But I'm here. So I do believe that there is some form of like a guardian angel type deal, but I don't know how to describe it. But I do believe that this power of positive thinking, that I focus on the future, I bring these thoughts into reality. I used to say, like, whenever I was making 30,000 a year, I'm gonna be a person making 100,000 a year plus. And within like freaking 2 years, I started making 100,000 a year. And then I was like, I'm gonna be a person that does this. I'm gonna be a person that does this. This is who I will be. And all of these things continue to happen over and over and over again. So I'm a big fan of the power of positive thinking, like he's saying right here.
So I did find the chart. This is the Uniswap. This is HEX versus
Why?
Ethereum
Why do you do that?
on the Uniswap V2 pair, and this purple line is 60.6 cents.
Okay, so it wasn't 66, but
No,
okay,
60.6. Sorry.
sure.
But yeah, close enough.
Really? Is that? Wait,
Yeah. Here, I'll make it bigger for
I
you.
can't see it. Because that's kind of blowing my mind. That's an actual thing.
Yeah. You see?
Wow.
You see here, 60.6.
What the?
The wick went up to that. Yeah.
You can't make this stuff up, man. Like,
So
the more
it's real,
the more
man.
I start learning about it, the more I find the people that call me crazy. I find
them crazy. Well,
Like,
they're just. It's not. Yeah, they just don't know
ridiculous,
the deeper truth, right? It's like it's not. I don't feel any emotional way about it. I just know that they're less evolved because they're not taking into account that language is a spell casting tool, or that all that exists are the principles of natural law, which is mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, and gender, or like spiritual currency, right? Like, I mean, you could break this shit down like so many different ways for people, and everyone's gonna relate to it a different way, right?
Yeah, and I kind of made the decision. I want to start talking more about this stuff. Often I kind of start feeling like I don't want to lecture people and all this. I don't want to do all that stuff. But then also every time I talk about it or have conversation with it, then there are always some. If there's one person that understands even just one single detail just a little bit better, that's worth it, man.
Yes, somebody wants me to explain a little more about language spells. So basically, words are vibratory complexes, meaning it's all that exists is mental in the
Okay.
world. And so
Right.
like an infinite can speak to its mother, and a mother can speak to its infinite through the way that their body language and their energy they're giving off and things like this. They don't need to have words to communicate. Communication occurs in nature amongst animals without them being able to use words. And so, you know,
Or how you
it's an
command a dog, for example. You can
yes,
say anything, but if you say it in the same tone as you say the other thing, it will just do the thing that it's used to with the feeling that it gives.
correct. So these words.
I do agree with what he's saying right here, especially about the dogs, man. We got 4 dogs ourselves. My wife's a dog trainer. She talks about this all the time. Body language is a real thing. It's all of this stuff that you're just putting off without even knowing that you're putting it off. So if you're a person who's like, your arms are always crossed, you're always like grumpy and frumpy, yeah, the chances that you have people coming up to you are like lower and lower and lower, right? Because you're putting off this energy that you don't want to be bothered. You want to stay enclosed to yourself. So body language, in fact, is a real thing. Into vibrations, what you talk about into existence, and all this stuff that happens, you put into the universe. Man, this is some fire freaking stuff right here. Hold up. We're gonna take a break real quick. I want to actually see. Okay, cool. Yeah, so he starts at 56. Okay, cool. So in astrology, it means in angels sending you signs. Okay, cool. I know it's some woohoo, haha. Open the picture, watch the photo. It starts at 56:30. Okay, then it starts. Gotcha. Put the video back on 56:30, bro. I will. You will see. Watch it for me for sure. Crypto Elite, you're gonna be blown away. Real talk. He has to watch it, and remember, Hex has 3 hexagons and 6 corners on each, which is 6 corners and 3 hexagons equals 9. Watch it 56:30. Okay, cool. So I went back. I just did what he said, man. He said start at 60 minutes. I started at 60 minutes. Maybe he was talking about because that exact moment in time. But yeah, let's go back to 56:30 here. Because, okay, now we know that when we get to an hour, we've already watched up to that point. So let's go back to just like, we'll go back here, right? 56, 56, sure, that works here. So let's check this out again.
You'll understand that. Look at how we produce this chart as a ecosystem. The this low here was 0.0006. Then you go up a factor higher, 0.006, 6/10 of a cent. It became key resistance, key support, and then the oscillation, perfect oscillation amongst that level. Now currently we came to the top here. On some of the charts, on the WEETH chart, we hit 65 cents. So we went 65.5 cents, rounded up, that's 66 cents. On this chart, it only hit 56, but on the WEETH chart, I gotta find it now. Yeah. So on the ETH chart, there was a wick that hit 65.5 cents, right? So that's close enough to 66 cents. So but to prove my point here, we got close here to 60 cents, okay? On this particular chart. Well, now look what we did. This is where that key breakout happened here in the price chart in May, which is the 5th month leading into the 6th month, June of the year of 2021. You broke the 6 cent level. You tested it as support. You went up and you ran up to 66 cents on the WEETH pair. Then you broke down. You came up to test 6 cents as resistance, broke down, and then you came down to test our base here. And now you're up and you're trading up right around that 6 cent level. So the 6 has been meaningful for HEX here in the start, here on the first break up, here on the first major breakout, here as resistance for 6/10 of a cent. Wow. Here is resistance for 6/10 of a cent. Perfect oscillation. And then you came back down to test twice at 6/10 of a cent before breaking off on the 6th month of 2021 at the 6 cent mark, and then going up to 66 cents on the WEETH pair before breaking down right through this level, retesting the 6 cent mark again twice for resistance, and then breaking down, making our bottom at 1.69 cents, which is the 6 and the 9, and then coming up, and now we're testing the 6 cent as support.
You see, and if you this is ridiculous, but if you show this to even people in HEX, a lot of people.
Okay, I think that's what you're saying. Go back too far, ATX, please. Go to 56. Yeah, let me just throw this up real quick. Get out of the little full screen mode so I can actually pull up the comment, because whatever reason won't let me comment whenever that's up too far. Go back, you're too far. ATX, please go to 5630 on that video. It's only 1 minute. Cool. I'm sorry, Crypto Elite. I'm sorry. You're watching the wrong time frame, bro. Oh my gosh. Put it up. Amazing. Yeah, the bottom was 1.69 cents. That was it. I mean, guys, isn't that quite insane? That is kind of scary, freaky, how all of this is happening around here. Now, what I love about Axis, man, he's been dropping some alpha, but he's hitting it from every freaking angle, man. So, like, you're hitting it from the manifestation point in time. You're looking at it from a TA point of view. He's looking at it from just a chart view. He's looking at it from a macro analysis of, you know, Bitcoin, Ethereum, the macroeconomics against the dollar, what's happening with everything happening. Man, kudos to freaking Axis for just continuing to drop superb knowledge on this one. So yeah, big fun number on that one, right? That was it. Crazy. And yeah, so that's pretty interesting. You know, he talks about all this. You got chatting. People ask me all the time, what do you think PulseChain will, or why do you think PulseChain will perform well? Simple answer, the community. Right? Show me something that you collected before crypto when you were a kid. By the way, this is a little tweet if you want to see what Hodl Dog had to say right here. This is his little message right here. You get some little titties that he has pop up on his Twitter. I don't know how that works for, you know, banning or whatever the case may be. I was browsing Auto Scout, killed some time, found by coincidence, 2011, PulseChain. Hey, does someone really have that? Lamborghini Gallardo all wrapped with PulseChain? Or is that just someone that put that on? Anyways, what in the F? New scientists have reviewed zombie spent. Just claimed by my name. Bro, yeah, so plenty of stuff happening with crypto. Plenty of stuff happening in our ecosystem. I think our ecosystem's freaking more active than ever, which is absolutely crazy. Waters Above also said 1.6 is bottom. Yeah, Waters Above gets a little bit too crazy for me personally. With his you know, lizard people type deal, I don't know how I feel about that. Maybe it's real, maybe it's not, but you go too far into conspiracies and it kind of like you start losing me on it. But yeah, he's definitely said some crazy stuff that's been true so far. So who knows? Maybe he's telling the truth, or maybe it's all fact. Interesting. Cool. Well, how fun was that, man? Yeah, Waters. It up, everything about it. Big props to Access Alive. I mean, if I said Waters Above, I meant Access Alive. Big props to him just dropping out all this freaking knowledge, man. It's freaking epic to see when he has some extreme knowledge to share. And yeah, the cosmic consciousness, dude, something to check out. Highly advise going to check out his video if you haven't already. I will get a chance to look into that myself. We dove and just checked out a couple of minutes, and so far it seems like there's some real freaking stuff being said in that conversation, and I can't wait to actually see the full video. But I hope y'all are having a fantastic day, folks. Don't let the price of HEX right now get you down. I know we're currently seeing this little downward trajectory once again, and you start seeing HEX lower than what it was previously, and then you start having these weird little intentions of, should I sell now? Should I at least take some profits? And like, guys, have a profit taking strategy that you have. And I say it every single one of my videos, proper preparation prevents poor performance. It's the 5 Ps. It allows you to make sure that you have everything done so you aren't emotional, because when you say stuff in anger, when you do stuff in anger, when you do stuff based on emotions, man, most of the time it doesn't end well. So if you just kind of go based on some real true logic, some facts, some things that you've already set in stone, here's what I'm going to take profits, here's how my profits work, here's how everything goes, and all this stuff in between is just it doing what it does. This is normal crypto activity, folks. Like, don't be thinking, oh my gosh, should I sell and take the profits now at the 2.5x? You should have already had your profit taking strategy in place, so that way you're moving forward in the right direction. When you start thinking that I'm going to start trading, that's when you start making mistakes, okay? And I can say it right now, because if you have someone who ends up dropping down and sells out at this, you know, 6 cent region that we're seeing right now, and then all of a sudden we start going back up to 7, 8, 9 cents, dude, those freaking people are so sad, and it's just like because they made an emotional decision. So if I can project any information about anything during this entire video, It's come up with a good plan that you know will make sense for you and your scenario. Don't make trades based on emotional decisions, folks. It is not going to end well 9 times out of 10. Also, into that stuff, predicted the bottom a year ago. Yes, sir. Have a good day, Crypto Elite. Absolutely have a good day, my friend. Guys, it's been an absolute blast hopping in here. If you are not subscribed to the channel already and you're enjoying the content, leave a like, leave a subscribe, leave a comment. For all the folks who are watching this video right now, still in chat, I'm going to end the stream. If you could do me a huge favor, comment in the little chat like Hexologist says. It just helps pump the algo. It lets everyone know that you're enjoying the content. So it means a lot to everyone who's here. Have an absolutely fabulous day, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.